So last month broke my brain, which is why it is the 21st and I'm talking about my October wrap up. I read 17 Korkosigan novels in a row in the month of October. That's all I did. Well, that's most of what I did. I couldn't decide whether or not I was going to even make a wrap-up video, and I thought, well, maybe I can roll it into something else. So this video is going to be me talking about what I read in the month of October that wasn't the Korkosigan saga, what I plan on doing for the rest of the year, because the holidays are coming up and I want to keep putting things out. But the month of October broke my brain. I have really struggled this month. I have been reading, but I have felt like something is missing. I've reset my brain with rereads like I did after I binged Dungeon Crawler Carl, but it's still kind of weird. And this is the time of the year where my reading tapers off. I think 90% of what I read, I'm done with by November. And then the last 2 months, I kind of struggle. I don't want that to happen this year. I want to enjoy what I'm reading without putting any weird expectations on myself, either because of the BookTube channel or because, I don't know, I'm just weird or something. My plans for the rest of the year are making videos about whatever I want. I am going to do a wrap up at the end of November because I have read quite a few things. I didn't want it to just be a wrap up, a book haul, a this, a that, because I've noticed I've gotten into a pattern with this channel of that. And I want to get back to making a lot of videos like I used to, defining the genre. I really enjoy making those. My problem is I cannot figure out what the next one should be. So please let me know in the comments what genre you would like me to cover in defining the genre. I've done the picaresque, dark fantasy. Is that it? Might have done another one too. I don't remember. But let me know. Should I do crime fiction, detective noir fiction, space opera? I want to do space opera. I just haven't yet because I kind of want to be overly ambitious with a space opera video. But maybe I'll just make a quick 8-minute defining the genre or something. Please help me out. I don't know what to do. But let's get into what I read in October that wasn't the Korkosigan saga. I read a lot of short fiction. I read almost all of the Carnaki Ghostfinder short fiction from William Hope Hodgson. It is in the Nightshade Books collection with House on the Borderland. So if you want to pick up just one book in that collection, I highly suggest that one because House on the Borderland is a banger of a novel. And then you have all the Carnaki Ghostfinder stuff. Carnaki is, well, he finds ghosts, or he doesn't, because these stories are Edwardian era ghost-ish horror stories. They're not really horror, it's more of a spooky type of vibe. And Carnaki goes to these different places to see if this is an actual supernatural phenomenon or something a little more mundane. One of them was very creepy, crazy, and ended up being mundane. It's really cool the way William Hope Hodgson writes these stories. They're all stiff upper lip. I'm a man of the British Empire. I'm not afraid of this stuff, but I kind of am, but I can't show it. Carnaki is a really fun character to follow around. One of them has to do with like a ring that is haunted and messes up stuff in this room, and there's like a howling sound and a door slams, and it's very scary, and Carnaki spends the night in there. And one of the cool things you see is this Edwardian era tech for dealing with the occult. He has like a pentagram or something, but it's wires with bulbs, like vacuum bulbs for electronics, and they glow this eerie blue. He uses it to increase the creepiness of what's going on in some of the stories. Really like it. There's one about a abandoned manor in maybe Northern Ireland. I can't remember. I think it is though. And he manages to get some of the locals, after feeding them booze, to go with him. And so they all go up there drunk and they're going to spend the night there, even though anyone that spends the night there dies and blood leaks out of the ceiling and stuff. Very cool story. Carnaki Ghostfinder by William Hope Hodgson. You got to check them out. I really had a lot of fun with all of them that I read. And the other thing I read was all of John T. MacDonald's short fiction that I could find from 1946 and 1947. Well, about half of 1947, because 1946 is when he first started getting published. So there was like 10 or 13 that I managed to get a hold of. And then in 1947, there's like 30 short fiction pieces. I talked about like 5 of them in my wrap up at the end of September, and they were good, but I could tell that they're very generic. As you get further into his writings in 1947, you see him becoming the John D. MacDonald that we all know from the Travis McGee series and some of his novels. A lot of his stories still in 1947 are like stinkers. They're not good. They're not as bad as like that Peter Reed turd from 1946. It's one of his pen names, but overall, none of them have been a standout. One of the more recent ones, which which right now I'm just kind of being vague about it because I want to make a video about his short fiction, and I'll probably break it up by year or decade. One of them was the first time I saw the foundation of what I think he wanted to do with his writing. Very creepy, very unsettling. It gives off some Stephen King vibes. It borders more on like psychological horror than it does crime, and I really liked that. So look forward to a John D. MacDonald short fiction thing where I just talk about at least probably 10 stories at a time, maybe 20. I think that'll be really fun to have a video catalog for people that want to get into his short fiction, because there is a lot of it and it's pretty easy to find online, and at least, I don't know, 10 or 20% of it, I don't know if anyone holds the copyright to, because I've been looking through that. So let's get back to my brain being broken. My plans for this month, after I finished Vorkosigan Saga, which is probably the greatest science fiction series ever written, was to keep the ball rolling, get into some things that I had missed out on because I read only one thing for an entire month, and it was 17 books. The 17 book part, I think, is what messed me up. Like we'll call it my B RAM. My book RAM in my brain is completely full and it needs to be moved, then put into long-term storage memory, but it's not happening. Or maybe the overall magnificence of the Vorkosigan series has left the bar way too high for everything I've read afterwards. And normally what I do is I reread stuff. So I read The White Rose at the beginning of the month, banger, and then I reread a Travis McGee book, and from there I kind of moved on, but I was still struggling. Like, does anyone else have this? I know it's like a book hangover, but shouldn't it have like a more grandiose name when it's a 17 book hangover or book series hangover? The one problem with binging, and so I don't know what's going to happen with the rest of my reading for Lois McMaster Bujold. I only have like 7 books left, but I feel like I have a very strong grasp on what she does as a writer, and I kind of want to save those books. Like with the Glenn Cook project, some of those books were stinkers. I mean, like a 30% were just not very good. But with Bujold, so far, I have read exactly 1 out of the 32 books of hers that I've read that I didn't enjoy. And that one, I'm not even done with it yet. I just DNF'd it 30% of the way through because I didn't care about what was going on. So kind of want to save the rest of her books. And I feel like Vorkosigan Saga works as a good capstone to my project. So look forward to me discussing almost all of her books in the ending of my reading project, and then I'll probably make separate videos for the rest of her stuff. Yeah, this video is just me rambling for who knows how long, talking about the channel. I filmed a 40 before 40 update video where I review the 10 things that I have finished on the list, and then talk about some stuff I want to get rid of on the list, because I probably shouldn't have put it on there. Now that I'm looking at the list, I keep thinking, nope, this is not good. I don't care. I got to get rid of this thing. I also filmed a book haul. These are videos that are going to come out after this. This is a little look behind the curtain. This is my 3rd video that I have filmed today because I want to get these things done. I want to get back to making more videos. My last video of my 10 favorite science fiction books of all time has gone great. I have had so many wonderful comments. I want to thank everyone that has commented on that video, and I really appreciate people saying, thank you for making this video. These are books I've never heard of. And other comments that are like, wow, this is a weird list of books, and I've only heard of 2 of them. I want to check out the rest. That feels good. This channel only exists to talk about books and to get other people into books that I enjoy. Not because I want you to like the things I like. I want you to find books that resonate with you the same way they resonate with me. So with that in mind, my reading for the rest of the year might be rereads, because I will tell you right now, I have 7 or 8 books that I have started as my book I read before bed, and I don't want to finish any of them, which isn't normal for me. I'm not a power DNFer. I don't just quit a book 30% of the way through and I'm like, I don't care, I'm done. One of the books was great until I stopped caring. The world is awesome. The technology is awesome. It's a science fiction book that was recommended to me by someone on BookTube. The world where everything is taking place, also interesting. The culture and the government and everything, very cool. The characters are flat or downright bad. And I already know how the book is going to end, not because it got spoiled for me, because they're telegraphing it so hard. And so I don't care about the book. And then another book I started, the writing is awful. It was another one that I picked up because of a recommendation on BookTube, which is one of the reasons I try to be careful when I'm recommending things. I don't want to convince someone to read a stinker. I try to make sure that whenever I share a book I enjoy, I'm letting you know why I enjoyed it and what I think the strengths of the book are. I don't want this to be this is a great book, there's something wrong with you if you don't like it kind of thing. I joke around with stuff like that, like with God Emperor of Dune, like there probably is something wrong with you if you don't like that one, or if you like Children of Dune more than God Emperor whisper that we might need to have a chat. Yeah, reading is awesome. And this is just a ramble of me trying to express my thoughts about what I want to do with this channel for the rest of the year. I want to get into a rhythm where I'm not just making the same thing every week. A lot of stuff has changed for me in my personal life. I changed jobs, so that changed my reading habits. I have just been focusing on other things, which affects my time to make videos, but I really enjoy doing this. And I want to use this as a thank you for watching and subscribing and leaving comments. And thank you for spending your time watching my silly videos. I love talking about books. I had a recent experience where a coworker was like, "Oh, you like books? I've been interested in blah, 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 and I don't really care about blah, blah, blah." And I was like, "Hey," and I started going off on a tangent, not to berate them, just to be like, "Oh yeah, cool, I like that also. This is why I like this, blah, blah, blah." And I saw his eyes glaze over in real time. So I kind of tapered that off and I'm like, yeah, if you want to talk about books again, let me know, but let's get back to work. So thank you for being here to listen to me talk about this wonderful hobby of reading. I'm really looking forward to the videos I'm going to be making soon-ish. Please let me know what you would like to see. I like making videos for the people that watch this channel. I made a baseball video because one person asked me to do it. One of my worst performing videos. Do I care? No. I like making it. I like talking about baseball books. I mean, it's two of my favorite things combined into one. I'm starting to ramble. My throat hurts. I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. And with that, I'll see you next time.